Hi, welcome to Tarot Off the Cuff. I am Kevin Quigley. Our next reader, Meg Miller, is a former forklift driver, chauffeur, and teacher who turned to the esoteric arts. She's always been deeply connected to the other side. She's an intuitive reader that loves to use the story contained within the cards.
Hi, my name is Meg Miller, and I'm here for Tarot Off the Cuff. And for today's reading, I'm going to do The Goddess Tarot by Chris Wilder. I've already shuffled the cards, and I'm just going to pull. And I have the Two of Pentacles. My question today that I'm going to focus on is your tarot journey. What does that look like? I'm going to talk about when you start. And for me, it was buying that first deck. My deck I happened to buy about 30 years ago. And it was at a time where a friend finally said, "Oh, for goodness sakes, Meg, why don't you just get it? You've been drooling over these cards for a long time," several years prior to that. But I was raised that you didn't talk about that sort of thing, and that was, evil and all of those things. But I was still drawn to it. And when I bought that first deck, I haven't looked back. So for me, it was a thrill. It was an adventure. And that's what all of this has been for these last years. It's a thrill and an adventure. So if you bought your first deck, congratulations. And if you're looking at going beyond, I'm just going to talk about what it was with my tarot journey and things to look at and things I wished I would have known at that time. I think the first thing was I wished I would have just listened to my heart the first time, and I probably would have bought a deck in my teens. But anyway, I bought my deck and went from there. Then I went through the phase where, oh my gosh, I have to memorize everything. And so every time I bought a book, I'd get a deck, and then I'd study the cards and I'd study the book, but I couldn't memorize everything because then there was another book that someone had told me about that this is great and the deck is great, and I had to look at all of this and so on. And so I got in that swirl that I think, oh my gosh, I have to do everything right away and perfectly every time. And the fact of the matter is just to start. And just with anything, learning to ride a bike. You didn't picture that all of a sudden you're going to be doing the Indianapolis 500 on your bike after a week of trying. It was getting on your bike. It was trying it and feeling the wind in your hair before you drove down that hill and maybe tipped over, etc. There's going to be a few tip overs in tarot as well. You may learn some things. You may come upon some people such as naysayers or people that are going to challenge what you know and so on. And just know that's part of the journey. That's part of starting something new and exploring and not knowing everything. So there's the thrill of something new, and then there's sometimes the hesitation because you don't know everything. And like anything, there's two sides. So go for it. And remember, have fun. The next part I remember with my tarot journey is just to let myself explore organically and then look at what types of things I'm drawn to. Today, we've got all types of social media out there. We've got YouTube, we've got Facebook, such as Tarot Off the Cuff, and we have books and blogs and podcasts and websites and everything. So there's just scads of information. And again, that can be overwhelming if you look at trying to absorb everything and do everything all at once. It's just humanly impossible. And again, it then becomes more drudgery. And then where's the fun? The fun is in the exploring, trying something new, looking at or purchasing a deck that's going to challenge what you grew up with. The Rider-Waite is a very common deck. That was one of my first decks. The Medicine Woman cards are the first decks that I got. And I still have them. I don't read much with them right now, but I have gotten other decks along the way. I've gotten various books. There's beautiful authors out there. Rachel Pollack, Barbara Moore, Nancy Antonucci, the greats that are out there. And they go into more of the story behind the cards and the wisdom that comes in the cards and when you're doing the reading. So you can have the literal interpretation that you can get from the little book that comes from it, and then some explore beyond that. And so I would say go there. If you don't have a community right at hand, if you're in a smaller community, or you don't really want to come out and tell people this is what you're really interested in, explore meetups. They're a great opportunity to meet like-minded people, and you can learn things. There are wonderful meetups out there that focus on spreads, that you learn the wisdom of it, how it works, and that you get to try it out. There's some you get to actually practice with someone in the meetup. And right now, because of COVID, there's a lot of stuff on Zoom and those types of media formats. The other thing is, again, throughout all of this, is look at how you explore. It's easy to want to dive in, but some of us may work full time. We have children, we have partners, we have pets, we like to travel, all of those things, is to find what makes sense to you and what is a rhythm that works for you. So look at other things that you've learned in your journeys of learning new things, such as cooking or gardening or working on, mechanics, those types of things. How do you like to learn? So I'm a former teacher. So we always learned that there's kind of like 4 kinds of learners. Some people like to just jump in and do it. Others like to read about it and learn the more knowledge of it before they go out and practice it. Some have to ask questions and go out and talk to other people, and then some have to see what's the practical side of it. And the thing is, with tarot, there are all of those elements. Sometimes you just need to jump in and buy that deck, jump in and look at that book, jump in and do a reading on a safe family or friend that, if you're doing it for the first time, other than yourself. And that's the jumping in. The other part is you want to read more about it. Well, again, choose something that you just want to focus on for a while. So if it's like for a month, let's say, and you decide, for 10 minutes every day, I'm going to just pull a card and I'm going to read about that card. Or I'm just going to open the book and read and then see how that is. Or I'm going to pull a card and see how that's going to guide my day. I'm going to look and think about, like this. I'm going to think about, how's my day going to be tomorrow? I have to make a decision between 2 things. What is that going to look like? And then, you look at the card and decide what that interpretation means for you. Or you look at your card at the end of the day, and that will tell you how your day went. Maybe you have to laugh because it's like, oh my gosh, this is exactly how my day went, no matter what card you pull. Then the other part is looking at the practicality of tarot. Tarot really is telling a story, and you are the interpreter. And so if you're sitting down and talking and reading for someone, maybe you are giving some practical advice, depending on what it is that they want to know. And I'm not saying so much that you're going to come out and say, tomorrow you're going to get this job, you're going to make X dollars an hour, you're going to sit in this office, and you're going to have so many people reporting to you, and so on and so forth. But you will give practical information as to what the card's going to guide you as to how you interpret it. So maybe the card you pull is going to have you say to your querent, the person you're reading for, hey, do you have your briefcase packed with your latest resume? Because I think they're going to ask you for it. Or do you have all of the phone numbers of people for a reference, for example? Again, those are practical things. Or, depending on, they're going to start a new school and they're going to start a new major. And what are things they need to think about at that new school? And maybe you just find that they have to make sure that they put themselves out there and they try new things. So again, looking at the practical nature, jumping in, and then also talking to others. So for example, in your tarot journey, let's say you want to read for others. Should you start with family and friends? Should you start with strangers? You're not really sure. And again, you go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. Sometimes it just means step back a bit, ask some people what they've done, what's worked for them, what hasn't worked for them, and then pause. And I don't mean 5 minutes where you just sit and think, well, I'm going to pause. But that maybe you just say, I'm not going to think about it, let's say for a week. You're not going to put any time towards what you're going to do or whatever. And let the wisdom from the knowledge of the people that you gathered come to you throughout. And then maybe you pull a card, or maybe you wake up one day, or you're singing in the shower and your answer just comes out with the bubbles. And there you go, knowing what it is that you need to do. So with your tarot journey, explore with others, with knowledge, books, social media, whatever. Just start, just do something. So if you already bought your deck and you want to try something else, jump in, start small. Try something that seems exciting and just do it while you can. Find safe people around you. And the third thing, as always, have fun. That's the only way that's going to keep the longevity. And the longevity is longer than just buying a new deck and a new book. It's really, what I've found is meeting with many people from many backgrounds, from huge wisdom to new, because I can always learn from new people because they have the eyes of a newborn in a way. They see things in sparkles and delight, and it's wonderful. And I will see something fresh because it is about fresh. And then I will also talk to the wise people, the wise ones who have gone before us and have really delved into this and made this just a career. And so that's how it keeps going. And so a tarot journey is filled with fun, people, and laughter, exploring, and fresh starts along the way. And please leave a comment below, give a thumbs up, and hit that follow bell, that subscribe bell. And again, I am Meg Miller with Tarot Off the Cuff, and I use the Goddess Tarot deck. Thank you so much.
Hi, thanks for watching. This is Kevin Quigley with Tarot Off the Cuff. If you can take a second, click the subscribe button down below. That'll let you know when a new video is posted and you might want to jump over and watch it. If you hit the thumbs up for the videos that you really like, that will help spread the word so new people will find Tarot Off the Cuff in their feed, and that helps the channel grow. That would be great. And if you got a question or a comment, positive or negative, whether you agree or disagree, or if you want to add information or your own take on a particular card or a particular topic, put a comment down below. We would love to hear from you. Thanks so much.